So I am 54 years old. I was married for 30 years and got divorced in February. I would say probably year 10, I started to say, this doesn't really feel as loving as I thought it was going to feel. But I stayed in the relationship because I have two children, and both of us were from single parent households. And we wanted to make sure that our children were raised in a two parent household. And so stayed in the marriage. And then I got to age 50 and I said, hey, kids are grown. I think it's time for me to, move on. I have more years, behind me than I do ahead of me. And so for me, it was that decision that I wanted to be happy. I want to be happy. And so I had a job that brought me back to the Northeast where I'm from. And that was like the beginning of our 1 year separation. And he didn't come after me and I didn't want to go back. And so I started the divorce process and reconnected in the meantime with my old boyfriend who I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen him in 33 years. And we've been together now and we're very, very happy. So there's life on the other side.
Well, I guess nobody told you, and Oprah's probably not going to be the one to do it. You still have to work out those same problems in your current relationship that you didn't work out in your marriage. I know you're happy now. You didn't reconnect with an old boyfriend, an old flame. But let me tell you something. Just like in your relationship when you wasn't happy and you wanted to be happy, that flame that you didn't just rekindle, going to need some rekindling in a few years, just to let you know this. And this is the mentors that we have to look to. 50 plus, still talking like this. I wasn't happy. So I moved on and he didn't come after me. Why would he need to? Why? I mean, you weren't happy in the relationship. What would you want him to come after you for? Are you okay? If I were your boyfriend, I would slow down a little bit and start asking some questions about, are you truly over your ex, your husband, to be specific? Do you need time for therapy? Do you think that this relationship is going to end like the last? What things have you learned from the past relationship? What things do you think you did in the past relationship that caused it to fail? We don't want to hear about him. We want to hear about you.
Here's some things that my fiance does that would send a low effort man into a damn coma. So when my fiance proposed to me, he gave me 2 different rings. He gave me this one, and then he also gave me one with a pink diamond. And that is because literally, I think like a month before he was going to propose and he already had this ring ready to go, I told him one of my childhood dreams was to get an engagement ring with a colored stone in it. So he panicked and also got me a ring with a pink diamond to make me happy. He texts me throughout the day, even though he's literally busy at work, and he's there for like 10 hours sometimes to see if I'm hungry, if I need anything, if I like feel sad or anything. Like he will literally call me, text me, and then if I am feeling any of those things, he'll take care of it immediately. So like if I'm hungry, he'll send me, money so I can go get food, or like I can order it or whatever, he'll order it for me. Or if I'm sad, he'll make sure to come home with like a little treat or something to make me happy. And adding to that, he obviously doesn't like me to feel uncomfortable at any point over anything. And over the weekend, I was really, really sick. And I don't know if it was like my delusion or if it actually happened, but I heard somebody knock on our back door and the dogs did bark. So I'm guessing something did happen. I don't know if it was like specifically our house, but regardless, I felt unsafe and I felt like, there was like somebody in our fucking backyard. That's terrifying. So I called him and let him know. And literally, even though we live in an extremely safe, gated neighborhood, he called the security company immediately and had them set up cameras around our perimeter and like little sensors on all our windows and doors so I would feel safe. Every month after he gets paid, he asks me if I want anything. It's never a need. It's always like, do you want anything? And he will get it for me, whatever it is. It's not every single month that I want something because genuinely I just don't want a lot of stuff. But like if I want something, like he'll get it for me and he'll figure out how to get it. He always puts me first. Like, if he has a day off or something, it's always, okay, babe, do you want to do anything together? Or like, do you want to go do this? And then if I'm like, oh, I don't really have anything in mind, then it'll be like, okay, well, my friend reached out and he wanted to do this together. I'm like, go ahead, go have fun with your friends. But I'm always priority and he always wants to spend time with me first. So it's always, ask if I want to do anything. If I'm, I want to stay home and do whatever, then he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go do something else with some of my friends. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. This man pays all the bills, never complains about it. He also helps around the house. Again, never complains about it. He's just happy to be here.
From what she's describing, that man works a lot. That man works a lot. He sounds like a nice guy. And, yeah, I think she leaves him alone, is really what it is. She gives a man space to do whatever he wants to do, right? A lot of men, listen, a lot of these ladies, what they're going to do is they're going to try to get a man that makes pretty good money. To me, it sounds like he makes a lot of money. They're going to get a man that makes pretty good money and they're going to try to control him. They're going to try to make him do whatever and whenever and however. They're going to try to move him around on their board. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. The man, it sounds like, has the freedom to do whatever he wants to do. A lot of men actually do act like this because they're loyal to their unit. Hey, babe, we have anything going on tonight? No, I'm just chilling. Okay, well, let me know if you need anything. I'm going to hang out with the fellas. So that sounds like most men come home and help out. But a lot of modern women say that they don't because they don't do it the way that the woman wants them to do it. So basically what you're describing is what a lot of men already do, right? If a man were to, maybe not for a ring, but if a man were to buy something and, it's like, oh, I like it. And, but there's this one thing, the man is probably going to try to, behind your back, go and correct it. If he has the funds or if he has the resources, he's going to try to do it that day or the next day or within that week. So this is how a lot of men operate. It's just that a lot of modern women aren't grateful for it. And they say that it's the bare minimum instead of appreciating the man.
When I was in college, I dated a very traditional Christian man who asked me at one point, how do you feel about after you graduated, we just immediately got married and you were a stay-at-home wife and you didn't have to work? I was honestly offended by that question because I was so passionate about this thing that I was getting a degree in that I was just so eager to enter the workforce and do this thing that I loved and get money for it. Fast forward to today, I've graduated, we broke up, I'm now working in the profession of the thing that I got a degree in, and I changed my mind. I changed my mind, I know. I don't want to do it anymore, I'm done.
If you want to sabotage your own relationship, tell him these things. Here are some things to never tell a man. In my 37 years, I'm telling you, anytime I've ever brought any of these things up, destruction. Number one, how much money you make. None of his business. Absolutely none of his business. He will resent you if you make more than him. Number two, any traumas of past relationships. He will use this against you. This is a tool that they use. You were treated like a queen, nothing less. Number three, that you bought anything for yourself. This is wild, but never tell a man that you bought something for yourself. It's always a gift. Number four, never offer to pay for anything when you're with him. Not a dinner, not a breath of air, not a blink. I don't give a shit. If he likes you, he'll pay for it. If he doesn't, next. Number five, never tell a man that you like to work. A lot of you guys don't get this one. You come in with that pick-me-sha shit and you're like, I love my job. I love going to work every day. No, the fuck you don't. I don't care if this is the best job, most money you've ever made. None of that man's business. He does not need to know that you love work. Men that like women who work are there to use you and not in their masculine. Next. Don't say mommy didn't tell you so. I love you.
And this is how you ensure that for the next 37, I'll even extend it, 67 years, you remain single and you die alone. Congratulations. You just entered the Hall of Fame Club of Wine and Cats. Have a great day.
So women are changing their dating requirements for 2026. Let's check it out. As a job, any job, pays his own phone bill, can afford his own groceries. Wow, this is sad. Knows how to use deodorant. Replies within 24 hours. While people are busy. Doesn't disappear for 3 days straight. People are busy. It's not emotionally terrifying.
So you want a man that's emotionally intelligent and consistent, which you're probably not going to be, financially stable and ambitious, which you're probably ambitious in your mind, but we just learned in another clip how ambitious, quote unquote, modern women can be. I think she actually ended it. She was young too, in college, lazy, would not give people, I think she said she worked at Texas Roadhouse, would not give people their orders, straight up forgot, went down the street to another Texas Roadhouse, told them that she was a terrible worker, and for some reason they still hired her. And then when that didn't work out, she decided, well, I have to go take my clothes off. And if that's not enough, let me go get a friend. But anyways, number 3, takes care of his health. Respectful, I get that. Gentle, respectful, communicator. So basically the baby me. You know, on the surface it sounds great, but for these modern women, we know what they're talking about. Has direction and long-term goals. Long-term goals meaning to retire me, to make it optional for me whenever I want to work. Makes time and real effort. Once again, time and real effort just means taking me where I want to go and walking behind me all day long doing the things that I want to do. Loyal without question is a crazy one. Loyalty without question for these modern women means show up whenever I need you in the capacity that I need you. Just whenever. I could be out there acting a darn fool in a club. And if a man comes and brings the energy that you told me before I left out the house he would bring, I want you to waltz up there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and start swinging on him. Loyalty without question. And you better win.
Would I get married? Absolutely not. I would never enter a contract in the United States that handed over half of my assets to somebody. It's essentially handing them a loaded gun. Here's what I would say. If you want to get married to me, or if we're in a relationship, I need you to convince me or make some kind of case for why I should enter that contract with you. When you commingle assets, when you have kids, there's automatically an arrangement and a legal dynamic that comes up. If we break up, there's child support that comes into play. If we both invest in a property, yeah, that might have to be split up at some point. I want as little of that as possible. I don't want any of these agreements that are supervised by the state. I'm not entering a contract where you don't even know how that's going to play out. I could explain that to you 100 times better than you can explain it to me.
So a guy here said, it took 15 minutes and cost $75 to get legally married. It took 37 months and cost me $120,000 to get divorced. The person who controls the money in the marriage controls how the divorce lasts. I would never do it again. Another guy just above him says, lost my $1.5 million home that was paid off. Jesus. That was paid off. Half my military pension, $3,200 a month, spousal support, paid all attorneys' fees of $45,000, no benefit of marriage for men. Goodness. And even a woman down here says having babies in this generation doesn't make sense. Another guy says only get married under a religious agreement, not under the state. Marriage under the state is meant to destroy men, not help us. $1.5 million paid off is a crazy statement. Oh, and by the way, we're going to take half your pension from you too, brother. Oh, and by the way, you get to pay over $3,000 in spousal support every month. Oh, and by the way, you have to pay all attorney's fees. Sounds fantastic.
It has come to my attention that a lot of you didn't know that I used to be a midnight ballerina. So let's get into that. I do apologize, I've been sick all week, so I'm gonna sound like it. Let's set the scene. It was 2015. I just graduated high school from Redwater High School. I'm originally from Texarkana, Texas. I moved 2 hours away for college at Tyler Junior College. And Tyler has a strip club, a really famous strip club called Time Out Gentlemen's Club. It's actually in a lot of songs, including, I think it's Early Morning Shakes by the Whiskey Myers Band. And she worked down at the timeout off of 155. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, I only went to college for like a semester. And during that time, I was working at Texas Roadhouse. And I don't know how, because I had just been fired from the one in my hometown. And for whatever reason, they still hired me at this one knowing that information. Because the thing about me is like, I can talk to anybody. I'm going to sit and talk to every single table. And you might even have a good time. But you're probably never going to get your food. 45 minutes into sitting there, you're going to ask me where your food is. And I'm going to say, oh my God, the kitchen is so backed up. That's crazy. And then I'm going to have to run back there and tell them that I forgot to put your order in. Anyways, I got fired on a Friday. I left in that uniform and went to another restaurant and made jokes about it to them. I said, I just got fired from the Texas Roadhouse up the street. I need a job. And the first place I walked into, they were like, that's hilarious. Come back tomorrow for training. So I went up there the next day, and you know what they needed? A social security card. Well, me being type B, I don't even know what that looks like. I was 18 years old. I had no information. I was like, I don't know what that even looks like. But I knew I was going to have to wait until the following Monday, go to the DMV or whatever, and order a new one, wait another week for that to come in, and then go through 2 weeks of training to get paid. And this was right before Christmas, and I was not in a position to have like family pay for me or something like that, right? So I call up my best friend V from college cheer, and I was like, we gotta go strip. That's the only option. So I remember we go there. I brought my prom heels and a matching Victoria's Secret cheetah print set. I cannot remember what she wore. And we went and applied, and we were like, we're college cheerleaders. We pick up on dances really fast. I think we both thought it was going to be a lot like burlesque. If you know anything about Time Out Gentlemen's Club, it's nothing like that movie. I mean, I'm talking like 40-year-old women with ankle monitors. Not that I'm here to judge. Anyways, choosing our names. She automatically was like, I'm gonna be Mercedes. If I'm gonna be a stripper, I want a real stripper name. Now, a girl named me, and I went by Holly, because it was right before Christmas, and that just made sense for the time being. I remember my first lap dance was to the song Big Green Tractor, and I will never, ever forget that. This place was also BYOB because of the TABC laws. I'm not going to get too far into that other than the fact that you could bring in a cooler full of alcohol to this place. Now, me and Mercedes, we had a plan. We're only going to dance to make rent. And then I'll get my social security card figured out. And then I'll go and work at the other restaurant. And then we made double our rent that night. And then we went shopping all day the next day and like blew that paycheck. So then we're like, okay, let's just do this for the next 2 weeks. And I'm not saying it's for everybody, but that was some of the most fun that I've ever had. Because if you asked me what I wanted to be when I was little, I would have said a dancer on Step Up. And stripping is the closest I ever got. I absolutely wouldn't recommend it for everybody. I think the beginning few weeks, I was super oblivious to anything else that was going on in the club, and I was just in La La Land dancing with my best friend. Anyways, I ended up dancing for the next 4 years all over Texas, and I was only able to stop because of social media. But I have a million stories, so if you have any questions.
And this is just to show you, in my opinion, they talk about how educated modern women are and how they're advancing past men, but then it always seems to come back to this. It always seems to come back down to this. Intellectual laziness. The path of least resistance for these modern women.
People wanted to jump down my throat when I said that other races of men, particularly these men, love dark-skinned black women the most. And not only am I here to double and triple down on what I said, but I'm also here to say that I am not fully pro-black. I am pro-black woman. There is a big difference. And a lot of times, like, black men will come into the comments making all these defenses and all these things. But, like, what we have to understand is a lot of the pro-black ideas were created by men who were misogynists. And I don't agree with that. I have total respect, well, some respect for the men of the 50s and the 60s who led the civil rights movements and all that stuff. But a lot of them were really misogynists. I love MLK, but he cheated on his wife with a lot of different women. I've heard horror stories about the Black Panthers. So my black idea is not architected by men, and it never will be. I stand by what I said. I see white men loving dark-skinned black women the most. When I traveled to Asia and I saw interracial couples, the women who got to wear their hair exactly how they wanted to wear their hair and still look beautiful and still feel beautiful, every single one of them, their 4C hair, every single one of them had a white man on their arm. I keep hearing pro-black woman is anti-black man. Pro-black woman is anti-black man. But how can we be anti-black man if most of y'all are our preference? We like the idea in totality of most of y'all, but it's the reality of what we have to face with y'all that is the problem. And that's why we as black women have to focus on protecting ourselves. We have to focus on being seen, heard, valued, and understood amongst our own so that we can regroup, collect, and actually find solace and peace within ourselves and within our own community. It's not that we are excluding black men from the conversation. It's that the version of y'all that continue to exist in a way that doesn't fully shed light on the full community as in totality. So black women have to focus on women and children.
Okay, so go and watch both of those videos in their totality. I'm gonna pluck out the part that I agree with: protecting women and children, black women and children, to be specific, because that's what we're talking about, right? I wholeheartedly believe that black women and children should be protected at pretty much all costs. Society does not move forward without children. It cannot move forward without children. Women are in most cases the ones who nourish and provide for or educate and raise the children. Men are the protectors. What I don't agree with is men have to be placed on the back burner. I'll say it like that. I think that the black family as a whole is what we should be protecting. Yes, the women and children are in the center of the circle and the men are gathered around it as the protector. But we have to recognize that our community as a whole has to be protected and raised up. And it's not just an individual effort. It takes all of us. It takes everyone that's involved. We can't have children without men, just like we can't have children without women. So we cannot choose to protect only one group while saying that the other group has nothing to do with it. And she does say that being pro-black woman does not mean being anti-black male. I just think the conversation around this sounds like it's divided, and it should just be the black family as a whole.
I looked at this video or these videos and I just think to myself, this is unfortunate because it had a lot of likes, a lot of comments, people agreeing. It's unfortunate because I think that this is really a consequence of your surroundings, like what you've been through and what you've seen personally. Because she also goes on and she says that, and I'm summarizing it, there's 1 to 2% of black men in the population that are doing what they're supposed to do, especially when it comes to raising kids and doing right by the women. That's a pretty low percentage.
I wonder how accurate it is.
Well, it's not accurate at all. She's saying it because of sensationalization. I don't think that it's that small of a group of black men that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, especially in the millennial population. Because from what I've seen and what I've read, these fathers in our generation are the best fathers there have ever been, or should I say the most involved fathers. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, you still have those that are making babies all over the place, but you also have women that are making babies all over the place with a bunch of different men. It's a problem on both sides. But if you want to go back, this is very unfortunate to have this outlook because, and something caused it, right? We can't disagree with that. Something had to cause this outlook in so many women. I don't know specifically what that is, but it is their environment for sure. Something that they have personally gone through and something that they have personally seen or heard about from somebody that's very close to them.
I have this question though, when we talk about, cause she does mention protecting women and children. Boys are children and they grow up to be men. So do we protect them until they turn 18 and then we place them on the back burner? And then my question becomes this. Is it the chicken or the egg? Which came first, right? So we have provided this protection to the black boy. We've loved him up until the point that he becomes a man, and now we discard him. Is the thought process, or is what you're seeing, a product of him being discarded when he became a man? Is he now angry and upset that the woman that loved him, his mother, his aunts, his grandmother, his cousins, are now discarding him? And so you're seeing his anger projected as hating women when you loved him to an extent and then you took that love back. Is that what we're seeing? Because we have a lot of these conversations where we hate men, we hate men, we hate men, but we love our children. But your child will grow up to become a man. And you're showing him, even right now as a child, that men don't matter. So what is he supposed to do with it?
But see, let's say that didn't happen for that child and the mother. Let's say that she continued to show him love. Well, even though you're doing that, you have other women that have the same thought process as you. And he has to go out and deal with those women. He has to weed through those women.
Taught by him every day.
Right.
In school. His principal is one. His PE teacher, his English teacher.
Right.
His college professor. His boss at work.
Even the clerk that he deals with at the store, the customer service, waitresses, like people that he deals with on a daily basis. Some of these people have the same mind frame as you. And it's just, how do you weed through that to find somebody to partner with if you're experiencing this at such a high rate? And listen, we got to touch grass, got to get offline and actually deal with people out there in the real world. But, when these conversations are sparking up online and people, heart, we loving this content. These people are loving the content online. And though they may not act like this in real life, the fact that they like this online is something that they really have in their head.
There's some bleed through to reality.
But back to the topic at hand, how do we include everybody?
I don't,
because that's what we need to do.
We have to, because again, the situation that we face is when we say men don't matter or we place men on the back burner, is we have to realize that we are raising those men. And at some point in time, if men don't matter, you have to cut that child off because they became a man. And all the things that they're seeing you do or not do towards men, they are internalizing. So why would I want to grow up and be better? Why would I want to grow up and treat a woman any type of way when I've been raised to know that men don't matter and the woman is going to treat me poorly regardless? We got to stop doing it. And like you said, figure out a way to make it all inclusive and make everyone matter.
And this is the last thing I bring up on the creator's video. It seems like she is doing a lot of talking about the men of the past, because she talked about Martin Luther King and the Black Panthers and all this. We're basing this off of past men who are not here today.
And they can't speak to what they did or did not do.
Exactly. So you have men today paying for the crimes of men of yesteryear. So my thing is, does this just only work for men, or can we apply this across the board? Because when you get to a point to doing things like this, the only way to make it make sense is if we're able to apply these things across the board. Well, women didn't have any power back then. They don't have any power today. Well, see, listen, should the man be able to blame his mom for the things that he experienced with his mom? Should he be able to put that same blame on the woman or the women that he encounters in life? And then if not, why not? If you're able to blame the past men and then put that blame on the men of today, why can't it be done in both situations, whether or not one side has more power than the other or not? And I'll just say this, it's going to make a lot of people mad. I don't think, especially when we talk about in this conversation about women being oppressed, I don't think women are being oppressed the way we like to spell out online. And I especially don't think that Black women are being oppressed. I think Black women are probably one of the strongest groups in the world right now, especially in the States, because you say one thing wrong about Black women or to Black women online, your whole corporation is done. You see what happened with Target? That doesn't sound like somebody that doesn't have power.
Somebody in the comments said, guys, stop arguing with Black women. They're going to see winter is coming. And really, that's the crux of it. You can't argue with a modern woman. They think that they're right. They think that everything that they say makes sense. You can't argue with them. You're going to waste your time. You're going to stress yourself out. Don't do it. laugh, comment, and move on. That's really the end of it.
So me and my husband have been married for about 12 years, and we have an 8-year-old son. My husband's pretty much the breadwinner. He hasn't required for me to work or really contribute financially to the household the whole time we've been married. So I haven't worked, and he hasn't imposed really any like wifely duties on me. Like, I don't have to have dinner ready when he gets home from a long day of work or anything like that. I pretty much just do what I want, whether that's lay down all day or go to the gym. My son's in school now, so he's not with me all day. So I don't, really have any like wifely responsibilities. He just lets me pretty much rock. So anyway, I've been having an affair for like the last 8 to 9 months, I think. And my husband caught me. He pretty much walked in on us in the act, and he was pretty mad, but I was mad too because my husband had allowed me to have like this very comfortable, cushy life. He worked hard and he supported me and my son and, let me do whatever I wanted and let me live a soft life. And it was just embarrassing that he had caught me. And I didn't cheat because my husband had like done anything or he wasn't a good husband. He was a great husband. I was just kind of bored all day. So anyway, when my husband found out that I was having an affair, I got mad and I made him leave our marital home, and I kept my son here. And I hired a divorce attorney because I wanted to file for divorce immediately now that my husband had caught me. And I won't allow him in the house. I won't allow him to come in here and get all his things. I won't allow him to see my son. I've already told my lawyer that I want full custody. Okay, I don't want Dad to have visitation at all. I want to keep the house. I want to keep the cars. And I want 100% of all of our marital property. Whether that's his bank accounts, his investment account, his retirement accounts. I want all of that because it just was embarrassing that he caught me cheating, and I now have to impose some of that embarrassment on him. My lawyer said that it's not realistic, but I think it is. And I don't know why she's telling me that, but yeah, I'm fighting for everything I want. And in addition to all that stuff, I also want spousal support because I haven't worked this whole time, and I feel like I become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and my husband should still be responsible for paying for that. So yeah, and that's how dumb y'all hoes be sounding when y'all call my office after y'all been cheated, talking about you want me to represent you. Absolutely not.
Call my office is crazy. And these modern women will do it. They'll do it. They'll call the office acting as if they were done wrong, acting as if the man should be okay with the foolishness that they got going on. It's just stupidity.
When a girl says you're the first guy to ever treat me right, you have a 90% chance of being dumped or cheated on or done dirty in general in 2 to 4 months. There are 3 common reasons for this, and they all really come down to one thing, so make sure you watch to the end where I explain that. My name is Dr. Lily. I help you heal from breakups and toxic relationships based off of neuroscience and psychology. Number 1 is that her self-worth is so low that she actually doesn't believe that she deserves you, so she will leave you because you're treating her too well. If she has this pattern of dating men who treat her poorly, that means her consciousness is at the level of men who will treat her badly. And when you treat her the best that she's ever been treated, it's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar for her. Her nervous system and her subconscious is wired to be treated badly because that's all she has known. This is a reflection of her limited consciousness, not of you. She might be a beautiful woman, a baddie, you might say, but if she doesn't believe that she deserves to be treated well, she will always self-sabotage and go for something or someone who treats her far less than she deserves. Number 2, she might actually like and enjoy the toxicity of being with a man who doesn't treat her well. She gets excited by the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. Part of her loves that this man is inconsistent and speaks down to her. The only reason that anybody stays in a toxic relationship is because some part of them gets something from it. So some part of her gets validated by not being fully chosen by a man. Now, men, this does not mean that you should be toxic. It does not mean to go against your nature, to treat women well, and to be consistent. It's simply a reflection of this woman and where she's at. And if you're looking for something serious and real and long-term, you can't trust a woman who is chasing toxicity, the highs and the lows, because that kind of woman will never be satisfied. And as soon as you get comfortable, she's looking for the next exciting thing, which means that you need to be aligned to a woman who is not like that, who doesn't love the roller coasters and is looking for a man who shows up consistently and treats her well. And those women exist. The third reason that this might happen is that you might be treating her well, but if it's coming from insecurity, fear, or scarcity, that actually repels a high-value woman who is looking for a healthy partnership. Or if you're treating her right, but not attuning to her emotional needs, she's going to want to look elsewhere. So this is an opportunity for you to see, am I leading from a grounded place because I truly desire this person? Or is it because I'm afraid I'm not going to get anything else? I see this person as higher or better than me and I need to chase them? Or are you too distracted or not in tune with your own emotional state that you can't show up for her? All of these cases are a sign of self-sabotage, which is driven by one's own subconscious beliefs. So if this woman believes that she is unworthy of love, or that love needs to be earned and needs to be chased after in order for it to be valuable, or in order for her to prove that she is valuable and worthy of love, then she will always go after men who will force her to chase them. And she will abandon a man who actually treats her right because that's not in line with her beliefs. And if somebody is treating her well, then that is unfamiliar to her subconscious. It isn't aligned with the stories that she's created, and she needs to go back to what is familiar because to her nervous system and to her subconscious, that is considered safety, even if it means poor treatment or self-abandonment on her end. And men, if you are over giving to a woman or doing nice things for her, but it's coming from this place of fear or like you have to prove yourself, that is also your limiting belief that you aren't worthy of love. And so you will then attract this woman and then repel her because that isn't safe to her. It's not coming from genuine intent. So there's always fine print with every action that she is going to have to owe you something, or that you are reliant on her approval for you to feel whole or like a man, which will only repel healthy women and will actually attract wounded women who do want to use you. So if you want to break out of this cycle and stop attracting women who don't want the love that you can give or use you, and finally attract the woman who will show up for you and will stay and inspires you to elevate your life in every way, you must start by looking at the stories and beliefs that you've created that has aligned and attracted these unhealthy women and repelled the healthy women that you want. The wife that you want to build a healthy, lasting relationship with, she's not going to be attracted and kept by dating tricks and tips to help you attract women. She gets attracted and stays for the man who is grounded in his masculine and knows how to lead from a healthy place. She stays because both of you believe and put in the intentional action to create a healthy and sustaining relationship. This is exactly the kind of work that I do with my clients. If you want coaching, the links are all on my page. Become the man that naturally attracts that dream woman.
A guy here in the comments said, just enjoy your turn, bro. Another guy here in the comments said, my last American girlfriend said, you taught me that not all men are horrible. You're kind, intentional, successful, and a great guy. But I am not attracted to you and don't feel this is going to work for me. Me, started dating outside the US, and found none of that nonsense. Well wishes, peace, and blessings to you, my brother.
Here's an example of take everything a man does for exactly what it is, face value. Okay, boom. I work as a server overnights. Last week my car was down, so there was a day I needed my man to pick me up from work. It was about 2 in the morning. I call him. He's clearly half asleep. He's like, babe, can I send you an Uber? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not picky. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He sends the Uber. Last night, me and him was dead asleep in the bed. His homie calls. It's about 1:32 in the morning, about the same time. And I guess he needed a ride. Man, this boy must have, I'll be right there. Give me a second. Hung up the phone. Tried to give me a kiss, talking about, babe, I'm gonna go pick my homie up. He need a ride. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, drive safe. He goes to leave the door. I pack my bag and I'm leaving too. He came home, he was blowing me up. No answer, no response. No thank you. What? Like, men will do everything for their home. If they will do more for their homies than they will for you, red flag.
And it be these same types of women that are baby mamas. Baby mamas don't got their life together. You think that you did something, you actually didn't do anything. Not at all. We don't even know the rest of the situation. But this goes back to the clip that I was talking about when they say basically unquestioned loyalty, or basically just loyalty out the wazoo. Just loyalty, period. Why ain't I getting that same treatment that he is? He sent you an Uber. Can I send you an Uber? I'm in a tight spot right now. And he took care of you. You guys, I don't know. You're not in competition with the man. Are you okay? Maybe you needed to pack your bags, but the next trip that you need to figure out where you're going to go is to which therapist. Does my insurance cover this therapist? How many sessions can I get? Because you need intensive therapy. This isn't insecurity, ma'am.
This is my part, nobody else speak. This is my part, nobody else speak. This little light of mine.
And there it is, on a silver platter. The jokes write themselves. Have a good night.
I'm one of the most pro-black people you're going to meet, right? And I understand the importance of black family and things like that. I remember I went to this printing shop. The girl at the counter, when I say this girl was so nice, I thought she liked me. She probably didn't, right? In hindsight, she probably didn't. It was probably just the white girl niceness. But in that moment, I realized this is why men fall head over heels for white women and foreign women. Because when you've become so accustomed to our women, who even when they like you, they're going to look at you and talk to you and treat you like you ain't worth a damn.
What you
And
want with
just
your big head?
a compliment from our women is, oh, you think you look good. Where you think you going? That's a compliment. So when you experience the complete opposite, there's a movie, Denzel Washington movie, Equalizer.
And tell me, who cooks for you?
I'm sorry?
Who cooks for you?
Here? No?
Home, in America. Who prepares your meals?
I do.
I would love to show you the real food of Altamonte. Would you come with me?
He was probably wet in that scene. Because a lot of men were. They were like, what? This exists?
So a few weeks ago, I had to end things with somebody that I was dating because he spent the night one night and then the next morning he used my bathroom, didn't flush the toilet, and left pee all over the seat, and then proceeded to lay in my bed and chill on his phone while I was in the kitchen cooking him breakfast. And then after he ate breakfast, he didn't even offer to help clean up and just left everything out on the counter. And until this happened, there really weren't any major red flags that I had noticed until I started reflecting on little things that were bothering me here and there of things that he was doing on our other dates. Because these weren't like outwardly huge red flags to the point where I was just going to stop talking to him. But now that I have all of this information and I'm putting all the pieces together, I'm like, okay, that's why all of these things were bothering me. So on our fourth date, we went bowling and we had to wait for our lane to be ready, and there was a bar in that same place, so we just decided to go sit at the bar. And he was like, are you gonna drink tonight? And anyone that knows me knows that I don't drink, but every once in a while I'll have something. So I was just like, you know what? Sure, tonight I'll have a drink. He then tells me that he forgot his wallet at home that has his license in it, and he's gonna show his license on his phone to the bartender if like she tries to card us. And I looked at him and I was like, that's not gonna work. They're gonna require a physical copy of your license for this to work. So of course the lady cards us. He tries showing his ID on his phone and she's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. We're gonna need your actual license. And he didn't outwardly say anything, but I could tell that he was like fuming on the inside, which again, I feel like anyone knows in 2025 that typically you can't get away with showing your ID on your phone. So neither of us get a drink and we go over because there's a pool section right there and we start playing pool. A few minutes into playing, he is like, hey, I have an idea. What if you go to the bar and you order your drink, wait a few minutes, and then go up and order my drink? And I was like, that's not going to work because they're totally going to catch on to the fact that I'm ordering a drink for both you and me. But I agreed to it anyway because I was like, whatever. He made a comment about how he typically would never make me pay for my own drink, but because he left his wallet at home, that's unfortunately what had to be done. Mind you, this man has Apple Pay, and I'm guessing he probably had Venmo too. This kind of rubbed me the wrong way though, because I feel like because he made that comment about never making me pay for my own drink, he should have taken out his phone then and there and been like, hey, what's your Venmo? I'll pay you for the drink right now. But he didn't do that. So whatever, I go and get my drink. It was only $11. And while I'm getting my drink, our lane is ready. So he leaves to go get that set up. When we get to the lane, he puts in the wrong name for me in our game. Instead of Alexa, he wrote Alexis. Mind you, he had never called me Alexis once up until that point. And I called him out and I was like, you know, that's not my name, right? And he was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like he was acting so like embarrassed. But I was like, this is weird because you've never once called me the wrong name. Then we start playing, and as we're playing, servers will come up to us and ask us like, hey, do you guys want anything to eat or drink? So naturally, he finally gets to order his drink and they don't card him. And this made me furious because I was like, first of all, why were you not able to wait like 15 or 20 minutes while we were waiting for our lane to be ready to get your precious alcohol? But instead you had to create this elaborate plan for me to go up there and buy my own drink and then go up and buy yours too, when in the end they were just going to be serving us alcohol anyway and not even be carding us for it. Also, we're bowling. Why do you need to drink alcohol? Like, why is that so important to you on a bowling date? So I was just super frustrated at that point. And typically this is not something I would bring up, but because the situation is over and I'm just so disgusted by this man, the final thing that made my ick go over the edge was how bad this man was at bowling. I'm not good at bowling. Like, I'm lucky sometimes if I can even break 100. This man was getting gutter balls like every single shot. In fact, I have never seen such horrific bowling form in my life. He like took the ball and had his arm bent and he was throwing the ball with the same leg. And here I was afraid that I was going to give him the ick playing bowling. Again, I'm not here to shame anyone's lack of athletic abilities because like I'm not super athletic and I'm typically not the best at these sorts of things. But if you're so bad to the point where I'm like breaking 100 and you maybe have 50 points, if that, like, oh my God. And again, like I said, typically this isn't something that would be considered like a huge ick for me, but because he did so many other things up to that point that had already made me so annoyed and given me the ick, it was just like the final straw. But yeah, I still have more things that this man did that were very subtle over the dates that we went on. But now that I pieced it all together, it all makes sense.
And the longer that time passes, the longer we see modern women struggle in the dating market. When, by their own admission, speaking about her specifically, she said, there was a person that I probably should have been with back in the day, and I didn't take a chance. I didn't do it. I put him in the friend zone, and I probably should have been with him. And now we're seeing the longer that you go, the men that you're going to run into, they're going to be sleeping in your bed. They're going to be having you cook them breakfast, but they're not going to give you anything. And the men that you should have been with, or at least given a chance 20 years ago, told you that 20 years ago.